I published earlier today, October 18th, a new post discussing my trades over the past few days. The link to my blog post can be found in my profile page here at YouTube. Just click SouthGen and it will take you to the profile page. I continue to be a net buyer of beaten up dividend paying stocks, and one reason for that is that I will be experiencing lower interest income from Treasury bills purchases next year. Also bought 50 Treasury bills at last week's auctions, primarily to shift income tax recognition into 2025 and secondarily for slightly higher income than I would have received by keeping the funds in my sweep accounts. Uh, Part of the funding was from my Schwab sweep account that pays almost nothing in interest, and the other purchase was in my Fidelity account. I will probably buy about 30 Treasury bills or so next week for the same reasons. I haven't decided yet on the exact amount. Trump will be imposing unilaterally some new tariff taxes next Tuesday. A Republican tariff tax of 25% will be levied on furniture imports starting on Tuesday, and that will rise to 30% on January 1st, 2026. Another Republican tariff tax of 25% on kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities also starts next Tuesday and will be increased to 50% on January 1st, 2026. The Republican 10% tax on softwood lumber imports also starts on Tuesday. Softwood lumber is used in U.S. home construction. The Republican 25% tariff tax on medium and heavy duty trucks starts on November 1st, 2025. The purpose of these tariffs and others is to create a few manufacturing jobs in the United States while raising prices to all U.S. consumers. High tariff taxes will also result over a longer period of time lowering tariff revenue due to an increase in higher cost U.S. production. It may not generally be known that beef prices just hit new highs in the U.S. Imports of beef from Brazil, which is and has been prior to Trump's second term an important source of U.S. beef, was hit by a 10% Republican reciprocal tariff tax in April, even though the U.S. had a trade surplus with Brazil. Trump unilaterally imposed another 40% tariff tax on Brazil's exports of beef and coffee starting last August because Brazil was criminally prosecuting Trump's buddy, the former Brazilian president, for engaging in a coup attempt after the last Brazilian election, similar to what Trump tried to do in 2020. There is also a 26.4% Republican tariff tax on Brazil's beef exports to the U.S. that exceeds 65,000 metric tons annually. As a result of the tariff taxes on Brazil's export, Brazil has shifted beef exports to China that would have been shipped to the United States, which is creating shortages in the U.S. and higher prices to U.S. consumers, in addition to the pass through to U.S. consumers of up to a 76.4% Republican tariff tax on Brazil's beef exports to the United States. In Trump world, U.S. consumers are just collateral damage for Brazil's failure to follow Trump's instruction to cease its criminal prosecution of Trump's buddy, the former president, who was in fact convicted and sentenced to 27 years in prison last September. Possibly, if Brazil releases him, from prison, Trump might lower the tariffs on Brazil's exports to the United States. Goldman Sachs completed a study that found that 55% of the Republican tariff taxes will be included in consumer price increases this year. As I've been saying for some time now, most companies will not raise prices to recoup all of the Republican tariff taxes that they have to pay in one price increase, but will spread the price increases over a longer period of time. I am expecting that all or almost all of the Republican tariff taxes will be included in prices paid by U.S. consumers next year. The Treasury Secretary recently claimed that the U.S. consumers do not pay the Republican tariff taxes through increased prices for consumer goods purchased by them. Trump represented last year that foreign countries paid the Republican tariff taxes, even though he had to know that U.S. importers pay the tariff taxes directly to the U.S. Customs Bureau, a commonly known fact. And those payments have to be made before they can take possession of the product that they have imported from a foreign company. And that has to be paid in order, as I said, to take possession of the product. The U.S. budget deficit for the fiscal year ending on September 30, 2025, was reported at $1.78 trillion. Interest on the debt for the fiscal year ending in September 2025 was $100 billion higher than it was in fiscal 2024, and it rose to $1.2 trillion. The entire U.S. government debt was less than $1 trillion in 1981. And now the government is paying more than $1.2 trillion annually for interest payments alone.